So I get a lot of questions about what my right hand technique looks like. I'm going to go over a little bit of that today. Now, I can't point to a textbook and say this is where I learned this from and this is where I learned that from, but I learned a lot over the years. I've been playing for 25 years and have had the opportunity to sit in with some really great artists over the years. And in that time, I've picked up little tidbits of what I would assume would be help to help me develop my right hand technique. So I'm going to go ahead and just get right into it. I use a triangular pick for the majority of the stuff. Sometimes this one has more rounded edges. It's not a round edge pick because I certainly do use round edges that are almost more circular for specific things. This is kind of like a hybrid between a pointed and a round edge, but looks like it's been well played. This is made by Apollo Picks. Nick Monin over there makes these picks, does a great job. This is the PEI material. I love it, especially on this guitar. I'm playing a Collings D2H with an Adirondack top. Great guitar. It's served me well for the few years that I've had it now and the many years to come. I assume it'll still serve me well, barring any unforeseen circumstances. But this is my approach. Normally is going to be picked up from early influences to me were guys like Brian Sutton, and just I appreciated how fluid he was and how he approached the instrument. And he talks a lot about taking a very natural approach, letting your arm just kind of naturally fall and then bringing it to a position where it's easy to play. Now, there's a lot of guys who are playing a lot of this floating technique to where they play from the elbow, and they have a very loose type, a very loose wrist that just nothing's actually touching the top. I don't float. Sometimes I do, and that's something that about my right hand technique is I don't do one thing all the time. I think that if anyone's locked into one thing exclusively, it could really put a ceiling on your playing. But I'm very, very open to different approaches for different scenarios. And what I mean by that is if I'm playing something really slow and melodic, for instance, maybe I'm going to go to more of that floating style because it's going to not put anything on the top and it's just going to be able to let that top resonate and fill, and it sounds more airy to my ear. Maybe me and 1% of other people might realize that there's a difference. General population probably not going to notice, but if you're watching this and you're trying to level up on your right hand technique and your tone, you probably are going to notice this too. So I play not exactly parallel with the strings, slightly not perpendicular either, but just slightly, ever so slightly curved, and I'm talking ever so slightly. If you look at the wear on my pick, it wouldn't be just all worn off. It's on this edge here, which like every guitar player will naturally play slightly curved, whether it's one way or the other. But ever so slightly curved, and almost as if the point of the pick is also pointing slightly upwards. So I get a lot of this meat here, a lot of the edge in contact with the string to make it do what I want. So I'm going to give you just a little example. Here's the G string played as flat as I can get it and pointed straight back. So not a bad tone, certainly a good tone. I mean, it's a tone, and honestly, it might be what you need for certain things. So definitely don't write it off. But the whole purpose of this is to kind of experiment with yourself and see what else you can do. So let's try to turn that pick inwards a little bit and maybe point it down just a hair. I mean, again, I'm exaggerating with my hands, but I do not intend for anyone to be playing like this. You know, that's not what I mean. But just ever so slightly turn the pick inwards, like towards your wrist, and then maybe just flex your thumb down a little bit. And here's that sound, that same G string with this attack on it. So you hear the difference? Here's just flat. Here's with that slightly curved. Now, why would you want to use that? Okay, so let's say you're just doing some stuff in a D position and you want to do some just pretty filler chords. We'll do both. We'll do as flat. Again, I'm going to try to do as flat as I can. Nothing wrong with that. And it certainly could serve a specific portion of a song, especially if you're playing in a band scenario. But what if it's just you? What if it's you backing up a singer and you're needing to get some girth? Because, you know, that's more of a high end. There's a little more sparkle in that and a little more mids in that might sit in a mix better. But if you're wanting to engage some of that wolfiness of a guitar and you're playing behind a singer, it's just you might want to get a little more of that girth. And here's how that might sound. You'll notice there the mistake that I made. I'm going to try to make all these videos as real as possible. I'm not going to do a lot of cuts or anything. So this is just like you would be talking to me, and I just feel like that's going to be the most genuine that I can be is offering my advice without a ton of edits. So this is going straight into a Zoom H6 and going straight into a camera. Well, I guess it's going straight into an SM7B and SM57, then to a Zoom, then to the camera. So you're not getting any post-processing. You're not getting anything, any edits or cuts or EQs, or you're just getting me talking about what I'm doing. So that's what you might want to do with your right hand. So that's just a pick angle. How do you achieve that pick angle, and how do you sustain that pick angle if you're, for instance, playing in a band context and you're laying down some rhythm? By the way, my background is I have played a lot of bluegrass for a long time. A lot of acoustic music, and trying to get all that I can out of this. This is the first guitar that I've owned in I'll say the 22 of the 25 years of me playing. This is the first, so that's a long way around of saying it. I've owned this guitar for 3 years, and this is the first guitar that I've ever owned that has had a pickup in it. Every other guitar that I've ever had never put a pickup in it. I actually would only do live mic or miking applications. That's all I would do because I didn't like the sound of pickups. This guitar had a pickup in the saddle. Happened to have one that I could add on, a gooseneck mic on the inside, so I went ahead and added that on. That's the only reason why it's in here is because it came with it. But otherwise, I am a mic guy because I try to work the instrument and get as much out of this as I can, since I don't have effects loops or anything. And I'm not knocking guys who do that with an acoustic instrument. That's fine. I'm just saying, for me, my taste has always been, how can I make this instrument work as best for me? Because I can take this and reproduce it everywhere. I don't have to have certain effects loops. I don't have to have certain cabs. This is all I have to bring. So that's been my stance for a lot of years on pickups. So what are you going to do? I'm saying that's the background that I'm in is a lot of acoustic music. So if you're in any type of situation to where you're going to be laying down rhythm, what is your right hand going to look like? Well, first of all, I want to say that my pick hold is not very tight at all. If anyone came along and decided they wanted to slap my hand while I was playing, my pick is going to fall out of my hands. It's not that I'm not gripping that much. When I touch the strings, I'm going to ever so slightly just kind of pinch, not even pinch it as much as just force it. And that really does enough to keep it. Sorry, I'm a little sweaty. That does it enough to keep the pick in my hand. So I'm not trying to flop. I'm not trying to whip at all. and I'm not focusing on keeping my fingers out because that's tension right there. What I'm concentrating on is from here in my neck and my shoulder all the way down. Is there any tension that I can feel? And if there is, how do I get it out? Because I want this to be as fluid as possible. I don't want any kind of excuse me. I don't want any kind of, rigid. If I'm focusing on maybe sprawling my fingers out to keep them out of the way or to act like I'm loose, no, my fingers are in a very natural position. In fact, if you just let your hand fall, am I out of shot? Yeah, okay, there. If you just let your hand fall, are your fingers out like that? They're not. I mean, they're going to be somewhat in because the muscles in your fingers here are stronger than the muscles of your fingers out here. So they're going to be in. They're somewhat contracted. So my hand is relaxed, even though it looks like, I'm not making a fist. My fingers are relaxed. I'm not just sprawling them out. So what I am doing too is I'm going to try to dissect this as I go. I'm not a very good teacher. A lot of what I've learned, I've picked up off of people, just myself picked it apart. So trying to convey what I do and why I do is a new thing for me. But I'm just trying to dissect it as I go. Another thing I do is while I don't plant, I don't put my pinky. Some guys will be very successful at it and kind of put their pinky down on the pick guard and get this kind of not rocking motion, but just an up and down consistent. And they use that as a reference point. So I do somewhat touch the top with my pinky nail and my ring finger nail. I'm not planting. In fact, it's very floaty. I'm able to go up and down, but I am just touching ever so slightly this high E string down here. Of course, when I go to play it, I come off of it, and that's why my nails ride on the pick guard. So not exclusively. Again, all of that I do is just based on where I am and what I'm doing. And I know that's hard to convey, but this comes from just playing a lot of hours. So a lot of hours in my bedroom with headphones on, playing with music, and just trying to figure out how guys are doing it. And the more I do it, my body just kind of finding ways to do it more comfortably. Bill Gates said that if he wants something hard solved, he gives it to a lazy person because they're going to find the easiest way to do it. I guess I'm a lazy person. My body wants to find the easiest way to get through something. So I occasionally will do that, just kind of touch the E string there as a reference. Let me think of when I normally do that, because I normally do like I normally do that kind of curved in thing when I'm doing real big notes. So if I'm going to put an example of when I touch the E string, it might be when I'm doing something more lopey. Maybe take that song Beaumont Rag or something like that. There it is. Touching the string. So yeah, if I'm doing something, I've noticed it here now that I'm actually trying to make myself notice. If I'm doing something up here that's complex, more than a single note or coming to catch something or playing rhythm, if I'm doing something in maybe these lower three, and if you've spent around any time on the guitar, if you've spent any time around the guitar, the lower three are actually the top in relative to position of the instrument. But these lowest notes, excuse me, if I'm coming down here, I'll use that pinky to kind of just keep me in reference so I'm not flying off here into no man's land. But there's one thing that I'll do, and I'll catch it. Yeah, if I'm hanging out down here, I'll drop that pinky. I very rarely. Some people will float with their palm kind of touching a bridge pin as an anchor. Not an anchor. I hesitate to use the word anchor because that insinuates that there's a lot of pressure on the top of the guitar, and I don't advocate for that at all. In fact, in my playing, I try to consciously keep me off of the instrument as much as possible. So that's even my arm here. I'm going to try not to rest it on the side. I think that I'm resting it obviously on the corner of it. It's going to be right here just below the elbow, and I'm going to hit it there. And there are some guys who put those armrests there. I'm going to try to not touch the top, put any pressure. And even behind me, there's an air gap. You can put your arm, if you came around behind me, you could put your arm between me and this guitar. So trying to leave it as open as possible is going to help your right hand tone as well. Because I mean, here's the difference in. Now here's back out to where I normally do it. Hear how much more life it is, or how much more ring. Maybe just me because I'm in the room, but there's a lot more ring there when I'm getting out away from me. Not way out, but just enough to where the binding is touching my just below my chest here, and it's slightly tilted up. So all my contact points are binding really, and I'm trying to get as little wood on my flesh as possible. So yeah, relaxed arm. Let's just hit some high notes. Relaxed arm, natural position. Don't tense your hand. Don't open your hand up because that's tensing as well. Very relaxed. In fact, it's good every now and then to just shake it out, maintain relaxed posture, and then just kind of close your eyes and think, okay, where am I feeling some tension? Relax. Concentrate on relaxing the shoulder. Okay, my shoulder's relaxed. Now I need to concentrate on relaxing my upper arm here, my tricep or my bicep, and because I'm maybe getting tense, trying to hold a posture there, and then just try to find what's comfortable and where your arm placement's going to be, and then from the elbow, just kind of bring your hand up. And obviously, this isn't so relaxed to where it's not going to ever do anything. You got to bring a little bit of wrist strength to bring it up there. So bringing it up, maintaining a relaxed forearm, relaxed wrist, relaxed fingers, but don't force it. I remember telling some people before, relax your hand and just kind of let your fingers relax. And they would start playing like this. And that builds so much tension right here, faster than just about anything else. I don't know how it happens, but I don't know how they do it. But relaxed hand and just go ahead and work on that. Try to practice through. And I want you to leave any comments in this video. If you have specific questions for me to address, I would like to do that for you. I'm going to talk a little bit about the left hand next time, but I just wanted to go over some tips on the right hand and what I've learned. Maybe it's helpful. I don't know. If it is, you want to see more videos like this or videos get better, I don't know. Just like and subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends about it. Maybe they're learning guitar. Maybe you want to improve or level up yourself. But let's just level up together. But hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.